Hey guys, it's Lexin, and today I'll be going over 5 tips that will make you instantly better at Mario Kart or Mario Kart Wii Lounge. Most of these tips can literally be implemented right away, so I do just want to preface that these tips are mostly meant for some of the lower tier or beginner players. So if you've been playing for a while, you probably know all this information, but I just wanted to get that out of the way, so let's get started.
Okay, so everybody knows that shock becomes available in the roulette at 30 seconds. And if you didn't, well, now you do. Shocks also have a 30-second cooldown period, meaning the shock will only be available in the roulette again 30 seconds after its most recent use. Knowing this, we can take advantage and prepare ourselves to expect the next shock. The important thing that many newer players don't do is not checking your timer at every shock. Knowing when the shock becomes available allows you to better predict where the shock will be activated next. Otherwise, you might just be predicting too late or too early as to when the shock will be used. So combine this with knowing where every box set is on the minimap, and you'll be able to better predict shocks that happen on each course. It also allows you to bag in last a lot better, so you can start hitting boxes at the correct times. One of the most brutal things about this game is the lag. For some, it can be advantageous, and for most, it can be a real detriment to their play.
Doing? What are you doing?
What am I doing?
Your bill. Your bill.
It ended like 10 seconds ago.
I don't even know.
If you feel that you are constantly disconnecting, always being lag bumped, or having awful lag starts each race, then I have some solutions to remedy your situation. Alright, so the first method is to actually get new internet. Now, I know this is a pretty complex solution, could be expensive, time consuming, and possibly not something that's available to you right now, but I do just want to preface it and put it in just because it is the best option to reduce the amount of lag in this game. But I do have 2 more solutions. So second is upgrading. If you are having issues with lag and you are actually playing on the Wii, I would actually recommend switching over to the Wii U. The Wii U has better hardware and a better Wi-Fi connection than its predecessor, and it's actually the solution I used to stop randomly DCing when I played. So it's been a lifesaver in competitive matches, and the graphics are also better. Lastly, the cheapest way to improve your connection is to actually switch over to a wired connection. Wired connections are stronger and more reliable than wireless connections, especially in the cases for Mario Kart Wii, as most of us are playing on consoles that are over a decade old. LAN adapters for the Wii and CAT cables are easy to find on Amazon or any type of home appliance store. This is the one I use, and I've had no issues. You can find a link in the description for this one, but any Wii LAN adapter should work. Even if you don't have lag or internet issues on Mario Kart, I would still recommend everyone switches over to a wired connection. It'll just improve on what you already have, so I definitely recommend it. One of the best ways to extend a lead that you already have is by utilizing effective backspam. And the most effective backspam is the type that you do not see coming. If your backspam looks like this, then you are doing it wrong. Not to say you can't backspam like this, but there is a time and place for it. The general rule of thumb for good backspam is to place them in spots where players will have the least amount of reaction time. Blind spots and blind turns are the best for this, as the only way to avoid the backspam would be to go wide around the turn or to take a slower line. There are too many great trap spots to cover in this video alone. On top of blind spots, you want to aim to trap landings, shortcuts, and narrow paths. Again, there are a plethora of great trap spots that I do plan to cover in another video in the future. On the flip side of setting backspam comes avoiding backspam. Many lower tier players who are new to the game tend to have a habit of trying to drive really fast and forget that everyone is taking the exact same tight line. Backspam will come, and the worst thing that can happen to you in Emoki is getting hit once, costing you the whole race. The biggest solution is to go wide. Don't be scared of giving first place that break in first. The point of the game is not to get first every race, but to give yourself the best opportunity to get a high spot based on the situation. If there is someone ahead of you on the track, go wide on every blind turn that there is. And while evasiveness in top spots is important, it gets even more complicated in the mid pack. you begin facing megas, triple shells, TCs. Again, the important thing to remember is that you do not need to take the most optimal line each time. Predict situations early and do not be afraid to use your brake button and make complete stops. Getting hit leads to situations where you can lose your item or worse, get comboed. Again, this is not to say that you should start taking every turn wide or hard stop if you see a TC. The point I'm trying to make is that in many situations you have way more control than you think if you just sacrifice a bit of time. Trust me, it will work out in the long run of the race.
On top of watching the timer to predict shocks, it's just as important to watch 12th place to predict shock. To gauge when you should use your dodge item, it's first important to know what item 12th or 11th place may have. If you're on the bottom spots, you're sometimes able to see what 12th place item is being used. But what if you're far away from the bottom spots? That's when you use your minimap. You can actually see what items bottom spots are using by the speed of their character head. Bills are the most obvious as they move considerably faster than normal. Goldens are a bit harder to distinguish, but if you look closely you can actually see that the mini heads are moving way faster than normal. Triple shrooms and stars are much harder to detect, but they do move faster than normal mini heads, and if they're taking shortcuts, that's another indicator that they do not have shock. Remember to apply these rules to 11th place as well, as they can also pull shock. And if they're not using any items, avoiding shortcuts, and the shock is not within the 30-second cooldown period, then that's a big indicator that they do have shock. And that's your cue to predict. Alright guys, so those are my top 5 tips that you can start applying to Mario Kart Wii and Mogi Lounge as of today. As soon as you begin using these methods, they will become second nature to you, and I guarantee that you will rise in the ranks. Also, if you like this video and want to see more, consider subscribing for more content like this. It's free and it helps support the channel. Thanks.